Hi, my name is John, and this is Business Update. In this week's episode, we'll be talking about how Netflix subscription is up, which is a good news sight for sore eyes in terms of we've been talking about how terrible the performance of Netflix in the past few months or so in terms of subscription is down. Uh, Contents that they provided in the past months or last year or so hasn't been a big blockbuster that one would like to do, and obviously having blockbuster would help their performance. But at the end of the day, I think I still go back to the main notion that to be able to have a stronger hold in the streaming services here, you have to keep on churning out new and more content that is superior to the previous one that you have provided here, and no amount of marketing or small remedies, which what we'll be talking about today, that generated them a not a small amount but a significant amount, 2 million subscribers by cracking down on sharing of passwords. And obviously that helps in some shape of form, but will it generate even more? Will there be growth in terms of doing that? And obviously the crackdown will only have a short-term effect here, and the question that Netflix should be asking themselves, what will be the long-term effects here if you have poor content? Other competitors like Disney Plus is trying to catch up on their heels, and the question here is, what is Netflix to do here? And having cracked or cracking down on sharing of password, which is what was commonplace, which they allowed to do it in the first place, which is their own fault, which now trying to rectify, which is good, but it can only do so much here. And obviously it can also have a negative effect in terms of, if people are pissed off because they can't share their passwords anymore, they could just stop their subscription, which is never a good thing. And obviously once you have them in their ecosystem or in your platform, you want them to stay there for as long as you can, or forever if it's possible, by offering tremendous content here. And obviously offering better content, I think, is the key to their success moving forward. And I think this is only a temporary success for them. And what are they to do moving forward after they have reached this threshold? Let's say they get another a million or two here, but still 200 million. They've been at the 200 mark for some time. They haven't even reached 250 or even getting close to anywhere to 300 million subscribers here, which is, they can have the number one subscribers count, but it's not growing significantly compared to when they were starting 10-20 years before. Now obviously the revenue is still significant, which has generated 7.9 versus 7.8 compared to previously. And they expect the global paid net subscribers addition of 2.44 million versus an additional of 1.9 million subscribers. But again, growths can be deceiving depending on what the actual data is in terms of of how a big company like Netflix is. And according to Netflix Chief Financial Officer Spencer Newman, mentions that we're still not growing as far as we'd like, obviously. And obviously, at the end of the day, just like with any TV networks here and abroad, it's the content. What would it take for you to entice those viewers to stay glued to your channel, or in this case, to your streaming services? And you know, for me, obviously, I'm not just the main target here. I tend to watch the older shows, older movies and whatnot that I found entertaining, rather than watching what's current or new. But for others, they may like a certain genre, maybe action or comedy, or for some that I've talked to before, likes Korean novelas, chinovela, or different types of novelas. And obviously, being able to cater to a wide audience, you need a plethora of contents to offer to your customers here, so that no matter what type of audience, young and old, male and female, there's always something for them to watch. So in my case, I go to a wide genre, from action, comedy, from animated to manga, and the list goes on and on. And if you provide more variety, not just new content but older content, I think it would make sense if they were to offer, you know really old films, black and white films. I think that would create another genre, and that would pique the interest of the current generation or younger generation, at that what type of films was produced way back, even before I was born. And there are a lot of great films, great actors, that was produced, in the black and white days. And I would be curious if we can watch any, let's say, silent films. Now, obviously, it would be unthinkable watching a film that's only has subtitles here, but I think that's something that Netflix should be looking at, not just spending hundreds of millions of dollars on trying to make big blockbuster films or TV series just to gain that traction. But I think they should also look at the opposite, also looking at older films or using older content to create newer versions of current generation that would appeal to a newer audience here. But we'll wait and see, because I think there's a lot of things that Netflix could be doing, but they're following the same path as the TV networks or even movie studios on trying to appeal what is the current trend here. But the question here is, obviously, you have to look beyond the trend and what would appeal to an audience, not just in the short term, but also in the long run. And it used to be, the model is they create a show where it's episodal on a weekly basis so that you'll be glued in. But obviously, with what Netflix is offering now, is you can binge watch all of it. So whether it's a short series or a long series, obviously you have to spend a lot to be able to do that. And how do you keep them glued? After they've finished watching it, you have to provide another content, another series. Obviously, you cannot keep on doing series 365 days a year. That would be impractical and too costly here. And no one would want to do that, even if you're paid a high amount of salary here. But we'll see here, and if this strategy that they're doing will benefit them in the long run, or is it only a temporary spike here. Anyway, come back again on Wednesday for more business update. So we'll see how Netflix stacks up in by the end of the year or by next year. Hopefully, they'll do some improvements, significant improvements that would, generate more subscribers and retain those current subscribers here as well. Anyway, if you have any questions regarding our topics here, leave your comments down below and I'll try to get back to you. As always, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.